What's up, guys? Welcome back to Chiefs Chat, and welcome to the first episode of the 2022 NFL offseason for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, it came a lot sooner than we thought, okay? We all expected to be in the Super Bowl right now, but regardless, okay, we got to start thinking about what we're going to do with this football team. We got a great team. We got a fantastic squad. We just got to elevate it one step further in order to get to the Super Bowl once again. I think we can do it, you know? We've already got a great squad. I think we just need to add on to that squad, and then we're fantastic. But first things first, okay, we have a list of players that we need to decide whether or not they should be suiting up next year for the Kansas City Chiefs. A lot of tough decisions. Some of these players are fantastic, some of them not so much, but regardless, okay, we have some decisions to make. And Brett Beach, okay, I know you're watching this. I know you are seeking advice, you are seeking help, and I'm here, okay? Just listen, okay? Just do exactly what I say, and the Chiefs will be perfectly fine, okay? So let's go through these free agents. Why not, you know? Let's not waste any more time, okay? Tyrann Mathieu, okay? This guy is not going anywhere, okay? I know he's expensive. Give him whatever he wants. I don't care how much money he wants. Give it to him, okay? If he is the one guy out of all of these players that we need to keep back, you know, if he's the only guy out of all these players that we can re-sign, it's got to be him, okay? He is the guy, okay? He's the guy. You know, he is the leader of this defense. He makes such a great impact. He's playing the best football of his career. He loves the city. He loves the fans. We got to lock him up, okay? I'm thinking a 3-year deal at least, okay? Get him for the rest of his career. Tyrann Mathieu's a fantastic player. We need him on this team, okay? That is priority number one, in my opinion. Tyrann Mathieu can't go anywhere. This guy needs to be a Kansas City Chief for the rest of his career. He's one of the bright spots of our defense, okay? We got a lot of young guys, a lot of struggling young guys that need his help, okay? He can't leave. He just can't, okay? Absolutely not. Second on the list, okay? We got Jaren Reed. I'm going to be honest, okay? I think we got to let him walk. Jaren Reed, I was excited about this signing, but he hasn't done much. Unfortunately, he hasn't done much at the defensive tackle position, okay? And I think the Chiefs this offseason are going to switch to a 3-4 defense. I mean, think about that. I mean, all we need is Chris Jones, Frank Clark, and Melvin Ingram, and we got a plethora of young, talented linebackers. I think we're going to switch to that system, and in that case, we're not going to need Jaren Reed. I just don't think we're going to need him very much. So I think Jaren Reed, he's a fantastic player. He's a very solid player. He disappointed for the Chiefs this year, but I still think he's a good player. I think he can make a bigger impact on a different team if you ask me, okay? And that's quite a bit of money that we cannot really be spending on guys like Jaren Reed, especially if we're not going to use him too much. So Jaren Reed is a guy that I would not be surprised to see head out the door, to be honest, okay? So that's my take on Jaren Reed. Next, Melvin Ingram, okay? This was the best midseason signing, one of the best midseason signings in the entire NFL, if you ask me. Melvin Ingram, he's made a huge impact for the Chiefs, okay? Really, the main impact he made was he moved Chris Jones back to defensive tackle, and he filled that edge role, did a great job. Fantastic player, made some great plays. And even in the playoffs, he was balling out. I mean, he was great, okay? We got to re-sign this guy. We need him back, especially if we're switching to a 3-4. We need him on the squad because he's a great player. He can still make a fantastic impact. And I remember, I mean, for years and years and years, he's been absolutely just destroying the Chiefs as a member of the Chargers. He's been a guy that we need to worry about, and now he's the guy that other teams need to worry about on our team, okay? So that's exactly how I want to keep things. You know, Melvin Ingram at the start of the year was on the Steelers, and they were not using him at all. But now that he's on the Chiefs, we are using him like crazy, and he is making a huge impact. We need this guy back right now, okay? We need this guy on the team. He's a great player. Moving down, okay? Chartavious Ward, okay, number 35, cornerback. He's been our number one all year. Get him out of here. I'm sorry, I hate to say it. Get him out of here. In my opinion, okay, we've got a few talented cornerbacks, you know? Chartavious Ward, obviously, is one of them. L'Jarius Sneed, another guy. Rashad Fenton, another great player. We got DeAndre Baker. We got Mike Hughes. We got a lot of great, talented, young cornerbacks. But these guys, I mean, it's not working out, okay? It's not. I think a serious change needs to be made on the Chiefs defense when it comes to the cornerbacks. And I think it's got to start with Chartavious Ward. You know, he's played great. You know, he's played okay, to be honest. But, you know, overall, I think he's been solid for this defense over the past few years. I just feel like he doesn't have a place here anymore. I'm going to be honest. I just feel like this isn't the spot for him right now. We're a defense that's really trying to figure out our identity. We're trying to solidify this defensive squad. And Chartavious Ward, I mean, as great as he's been, it just hasn't worked out. It just hasn't been great. So I feel like Ward's got to go. I hate to say it. And, he's towards the top of this list. I think he's going to be, wanting a lot of money. He's going to be wanting a big paycheck. I cannot pay him a lot of money for the production that he's giving us. If I'm Brett Veach, I'm letting him walk. I'm sorry. Chartavious Ward, bye. Okay, good luck on a different team. That's exactly what I'd tell him. Of course, I would thank him for the past few years, but, overall, I got to say no. I'm sorry. Moving on. Okay, Mike Remmers. I'm a little impartial to this decision in particular. I don't care. Mike Remmers, he's been kind of a backup this year. I was surprised to see him get re-signed last year. I was in favor of us, just getting rid of him, to be honest, after the performance he put up in the Super Bowl. But he's been okay as a backup, so, if we want some depth, that's fine. We can bring it back. It's fantastic. It's whatever you want, Brett Veach. Okay, you do whatever you want. You decide. Mike Hughes, okay? Mike Hughes. Cornerback, like I said, man, same thing with Chartavious Ward. See ya. Okay, bye. Mike Hughes, he hasn't played much, okay? We haven't really seen much of what he's been able to do. But in the limited snaps that he's had, he's been okay, all right. So I think he's another guy that we got to say bye to, okay? There are a couple of corners that I want to keep on this Chiefs team, but everyone else, get out of here. Dirty Dan, see ya, bro. Get out of here, bro. Bro, I will send you off, bro. I will give you I don't even know, bro. I'll just give you some, I'll pay you. I'll pay you myself. I will personally pay you to go find a different team. I'm sorry, Dirty Dan. I love you. Daniel Sorensen, you're a fantastic player. You've done some great things overall for this Chiefs team. But it's over, okay? After what you've done this year, it's over. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. So many horrible plays. I mean, you're just not a coverage safety. And really, you weren't doing much to stop the run either. It's just, I'm sorry, Daniel. I hate to say it. Bye. Chad Henne. Honestly, I don't care. Chad Henne, he's been okay as a backup quarterback. I feel like we can find a better backup quarterback, but it's really not that big of a deal because if we don't have Patrick Mahomes, this team is going to fall apart either way. So, let's bring him back. He's a good player. He knows the offense. He's all right. So, I wouldn't be mad about us bringing back Chad Henne. All right, Daryl Williams, okay, this guy, I feel like we got to lock him up for more than a year. He was a free agent last season for the Chiefs. We re-signed him to a one-year deal. We got to re-sign him for, 2, maybe 3 years. Honestly, Daryl Williams, this year, I think this was his best statistical season. He really did step up when Clyde Edwards-Helaire got hurt. Made some great plays. Daryl Williams is the guy. I mean, this guy is fantastic. He's a great running back, number 31 for the Chiefs. He can do some great things. We need him on the squad, okay? Re-sign Daryl Williams, okay? Ben Neiman, linebacker, hasn't seen the field much, but when he has, he's been poopy, okay? Get him off the team. Ben Neiman, I'm sorry. Bye. Kyle Long, he's a guy who didn't see the field much either. He's really, I think, more so for depth at the left or right guard position, whichever he can end up playing. But really, I don't see him as an impactful player. But for depth purposes, let's bring him back. That's fantastic, Former Bears starter. He's been fantastic for the Bears. Came out of retirement to join the Chiefs, and he hasn't done much. But hey, let's bring him back. As long as he gets the injuries figured out, let's get him back on the squad for depth purposes, okay? I don't think he's going to start. I mean, he's definitely not going to start. But he's okay for depth, okay? Not mad about that. Demarcus Robinson. This one's interesting because Demarcus Robinson is a guy who I really did think was going to step up as the wide receiver number 2. I thought he was going to be the, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and then D-Rob was right there. That's what I thought was going to happen. But Pringle ended up stepping up, and Hardman honestly had a better year. So D-Rob right now is just kind of option number 4. So in my opinion, I wouldn't be surprised to see them let D-Rob go. I like Demarcus Robinson. I think he's a talented receiver. He's been with the team for so long. He knows the offense so well. But honestly, I think at this point, being the wide receiver number 4, we've got a couple of young players coming up. I mean, obviously, we also have Josh Gordon who could fill that void. And let's not forget about Cornell Powell, who we drafted last year, who's still working in the practice squad trying to get better. So I think D-Rob, I hate to say it, but I think his time is over in Kansas City. I would love to bring him back. I love D-Rob, okay? I think he deserves to stay in Kansas City. I think he deserves to be a Chief for the rest of his career, but I don't see it working out like that, unfortunately. So it just depends on how much money he wants. The less he wants, the more likely I think they're going to pull the trigger on that deal. But yeah, D-Rob, man, I love him, but it's just, he's kind of fallen down on the depth chart. That's the only problem. So yeah, that's how I feel about D-Rob. Let's move on to Blake Bell. You know, we've got some tight ends. We got Noah Gray, who's been there. So, I mean, Blake Bell, honestly, for depth purposes, that's not bad. He's been serviceable. You know, he's been the kind of the guy, if you guys didn't notice this year, he's been doing a lot of those trick plays, you know, getting under center and doing the quarterback sneak so Patrick Mahomes doesn't have to do that. So it's been kind of fun watching him play. You know, it's been kind of cool. So I wouldn't be mad if they brought Blake Bell back. You know, frankly, I think he can make a solid impact in it. And if he can't make an impact, if he can't stay on the field, then he's good for depth. You know, he's a guy who has been with the team for a couple of seasons. So I just feel like it wouldn't be a bad decision to just, you know, go ahead and bring him back. Moving on to the second half of our Chiefs free agents, okay? Alex Okafor, he's a guy who I was in favor of letting go last season, and we did end up letting him go, but we ended up re-signing him before the season began. And he's a guy who, again, I feel like we don't need. Especially, once again, I'm sorry for bringing this up for the third, fourth time. I think we're going to be switching to a 3-4, so we're not going to need him, really, I feel like. Maybe for depth purposes. I mean, a lot of these guys are really just depth. But honestly, I think we can maybe even find someone better in the draft, maybe in like the 5th, 6th round. I mean, we need a younger guy, I feel like, who, honestly, we've got some veteran leadership, really. I mean, Chris Jones and Melvin Ingram can, you know, maybe get some young guys up and really help them out. But yeah, I think Alex Okafor, he's on the older side, you know, on the more veteran side of things, and really he doesn't make too much of an impact, so I wouldn't be mad to see him leave. Next, we got Austin Blythe. Still have no idea how to pronounce his name. I remember signing him in the offseason last year, and really, we got a lot of these guys on here who, you know, these guys started. I mean, Austin Blythe, he was a starter for the Rams. I mean, didn't miss a single game in 3 years for them, then went to the Chiefs, and he's been sitting on the bench. So, honestly, I'm not sure if he's going to want to stay with the Chiefs. I'm sure he wants a starting position, but if he wants to come back, let's bring him back. You know, let's put him right there, you know, second string center behind Creed Humphrey, and I think he's going to do great. You know, definitely great for depth purposes. If one of our guys get hurt, boom. I mean, this guy's fantastic. He can fill that void and play great. So Austin Blythe just depends on what he wants. Jerick Mckinnon, he is a guy that I think we need to bring back. I really wasn't high on Jerick McKinnon at all going into last season, but he has proved a lot. He's a fantastic player. And really, when you take a look at our running back room, I think we just need as many guys as we can. I mean, because Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's been okay, but he's been injury prone. Definitely at the beginning of the season, I could tell that we were trying to start to get him the main portion of the snaps. You know, we really do need a guy at the running back position, and we want it to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but he's been getting hurt. So we definitely need guys who can be able to come in and back him up. And Jerick McKinnon, he was fantastic in the postseason. Definitely towards the end of last season, you know, he was great. Okay, so he's a guy I think we need on this team. Jerick McKinnon, he can make a great impact. And, you know, he can catch some footballs, you know. He can elevate our passing game as well. So Jerick McKinnon, fantastic. Michael Burton, definitely, let's bring him back. He was fantastic at the fullback position. Definitely did a great job of filling in the shoes of Anthony Sherman. He's a guy that I think we definitely need on this team. And honestly, you know, he's a replaceable player, but it's just not ideal to have to, you know, bring a whole new guy in, you know, teach him all the whole offense. You know, Andy Reid, he's got a complicated playbook. Michael Burton has been able to step in and execute. So let's bring him back. Derek Nottie, another one of those guys. I think either Derek Nottie or, you know, Jaren Reed. I think one of those guys definitely is going to, you know, end up leaving. But I think one, you know, might end up staying just for depth. Okay, because like I said, 5th, maybe 6th time I've mentioned this in this video, I think we're switching to a 3-4. Okay, I think we're switching to a 3-4. So Derek Nottie, depth, you know, good for depth. But I don't know if he's going to be a consistent part of the offense. I just don't. So moving on, okay, Andrew Wiley. He started at the right tackle position near the end of the year when Lucas Niang got hurt, and he played pretty good. I was actually surprised by how well by how well he played. Andrew Wiley has been with the Chiefs for quite a while. Honestly, he's been a solid part of the team. I would not be opposed to bringing him back. You know, So Andrew Wiley, I mean, honestly, we might be able to roll into next season having him start at the right tackle position. I wouldn't even be upset about that because Andrew Wiley, he didn't really play too bad at the right tackle position. He was solid. He was okay, especially for a guy who's really primarily played right guard. Moving to right tackle, that's a little tough, but he did it pretty well. Orlando Brown, our Pro Bowl offensive lineman, Orlando Brown. And honestly, if you ask me, he's been the 4th best offensive lineman on this team. But he did make the Pro Bowl. I guess he's got that star power. He's got the name, so Orlando Brown got to make the Pro Bowl. And he's been serviceable. He's been a great left tackle. He's been all right. And honestly, we gave up our 1st-round pick last year to get him, so I think we need a little more out of him for that to be worth it. So let's bring him back. Let's get him back on the team. And I think he's good. He's a good player. Overall, I think he's a great left tackle. Definitely serviceable. Definitely top 15 left tackle. Definitely an above-average guy. So I definitely think he can make a good impact. He's a great player. So let's bring him back, Orlando Brown Jr. Marcus Kemp, he's a guy who, moves up and down from the practice squad. He's been a big part of special teams. That's really the only time I ever really see him on the field, honestly. So Marcus Kemp, I don't know. If he's still making a good impact on special teams, and if he's a guy who can really step up if one of our wide receivers gets hurt, then he's okay. He's a good guy to have. But overall, either way, Marcus Kemp, he's cheap. He's not going to want a lot of money. He's probably going to be on the practice squad if we do bring him back. So it's kind of just whatever to me. Moving on, Dorian O'Daniel is a guy who, I remember when we drafted him a few years back and we thought he was going to be the guy at linebacker, but we just haven't really given him a shot. It's been unfortunate to see, but now he's just getting older. He has a lot of hit power. I've seen him on special teams. He can make some crazy hits. He can do some great things, but we just really haven't given him that opportunity. And now on this football team, we've got so many young guys. We got Willie Gay, Mike Dana. Those guys are very, very young. And then Nick Bolton. These guys, they're coming up. They're playing great. And I just feel like Dorian O'Daniel, he's just doesn't really have a spot anymore, Doesn't really have an opportunity to make an impact. So he's another guy who I'm like, whatever, Special teams, he's good, but, when he's actually on the field, I don't know if he's going to really make more of an impact than a lot of the younger guys that we have now. It's kind of sad. I really did think he was going to get a good shot, but we didn't really give him a good shot. So it's unfortunate. But moving on, we got Chris Lehmanns. He's a guy who hasn't seen the field at all. I'm going to be honest, I don't even recognize this name. I think maybe he's a practice squad guy. If he's good, keep him. If he's not, then get rid of him. That's really all I have to say. I don't know much else about him. Armani Watts, he's been very serviceable as a backup safety. I think he's a good player. Younger player. I think he can learn from Tyrann Mathieu, and he's been learning from Daniel Sorensen. Maybe he can step up and do a little bit of a 1-2 punch over there with Juan Thornhill on that free safety position. I think that might be that might work. So I think we should bring back Armani Watts. I think he's a good player. Joe Fortson, he's another guy who I'm like, I don't know. Absolutely no idea who this guy is. Probably a practice squad guy. So again, if he's good, bring him back. If he's not, see ya. Last but not least, okay, Derek Gore. Now, I did mention this earlier, but I do think we need a lot of good running backs. And Derek Gore, he showed potential. He definitely showed potential, and a lot of Chiefs fans are calling for him to get a lot more snaps. And on top of that, earlier, I think it was right after the last season of the last game of the regular season, we ended up bringing back Darwin Thompson, who was a guy who got cut at the beginning of last year, played for the Chiefs for a couple of years prior to that, and I think he's great. I think he's a fantastic running back. So now we have a plethora of solid running backs. I think we got to keep it up. We got to bring these guys back. We got to get back Williams and Derek Gore, and also Jerick McKinnon. I think these guys are very, very solid, and they can, rotate in, make a good impact, and I think our running back spot should be great. So that's how I feel. That's definitely how I feel about the running back room, and that's how I feel about this Chiefs offseason overall. Okay, we got a lot of guys here. Some of them don't make enough of an impact to really be a good part of this team. So that's exactly how I feel, and that's it. Okay, I've gone through every single free agent. Okay. You're welcome, Brett Beach. I know you're going to make the right decision. I know you're going to do the right thing. Let's see it happen, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next Chiefs chat. Peace out.